right, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 31 of the worldwide known podcast around the globe, around the nation, known as the Yin and the Yang. I am the Yin, obviously, Anthony Chu, aka Chuzilla, the ultimate thriller, all muscle, no filler, baby. And today with me, unfortunately, I don't have his theme music because we are on the road. We are in the same place at the same time in our traditional watering hole known as Buffalo Wild Wings. He is the owner, the king, the guru, master chef, head cheese, double quarter pounder with cheese, maybe a Buffalo Wild Wings, I don't know. But we are at the hub of the Yin and the Yang podcast known as B-Dubs, aka Buffalo Wild Wings in Parsippany, New Jersey, and we just came out of Chiller Theater. This is my co-host, Mr. Co-host to you, Larry. I am just that good Mormon.
I am just that tired. I'm beat. It's been a long 2 days for me. This is more time in New Jersey than I normally want to spend, but that's okay because I'm heading back to the mansion in a few hours. But Chiller Theater was actually really, really good. I gotta say, Chiller Theater was awesome. So I think we struck gold this time around.
Okay, all right. Well, just keep in mind a couple of things right now. The first very known fact that you should be aware of, fans, is that 6 months ago, when we had episode number 7 of the Yin and the Yang podcast, we actually broke a network record of 155 hits on YouTube and 160 hits on Spreaker, and we were just starting. We actually started to get our name out there, and hopefully we can replicate some of that magic 6 months later. Choose Commandos, Mormons, Militants, at attention, please. And also, we're recording with some interesting new technology here for the network, especially on the Yin and the Yang podcast. It's known as the Zoom H1N digital recorder. And as you hear John Cena's theme music in the background,
It's for a car commercial.
Yep. WWE must
That's
really need a
nuts.
lot of money right now.
Yeah.
So, brother, give us a little bit of a rundown as to what your first day of Chiller Theater was like.
And it's a Toyota too.
Wow.
Camry.
Well, interesting.
Well, day one of Chiller, I purposely spaced some stuff out because I knew you were going to be here on Sunday. So I did like half the stuff I was going to do at Chiller. So yesterday, being Saturday from when we're recording, I got a lot of the smaller, easier autographs out of the way. Jeremy London from Mallrats. A friend of mine got me Karen Allen's autograph from
really?
Raiders of
Okay.
the Lost Ark. And who else did I meet? Steven Weber from Wings. I love Wings. Wings is an awesome show, and I just binge watched it not too long ago as well. He was really cool. I got a picture with him.
It's a good show.
Yeah. And then I bought some merch, which you'll be able to see on my Instagram page at More365 or on the Retro Gamers Instagram page, which is Instagram at @the_Retro Gamers, which you can listen to every Tuesday wherever you listen to podcasts.
Yeah, they just don't listen to our podcast, that's all. But that's a different realm of fans, and I understand. They're geeks.
I also saw some nice cosplay. There was a
You actually took a picture with somebody.
well, that's Jake Blues.
Uh-huh.
He was really cool, and also took a picture of Shaggy and Velma with Scooby-Doo. It was a little plush
that's right,
Scooby.
that's right.
So they were adorable.
Aw.
With Jake Blues, it was funny. I take the picture with him, and as far as I know, he's just a cosplayer. And I take the picture of him, and he was really cool. We were talking. It's like, oh, very cool. So I'm like, thank you. And I saw it walking away. And as I'm walking away here behind me, I hear him go, picture's on the house. Don't worry. So,
wow.
So I don't know if he was expecting payment or not.
That's okay.
But as it stands with the More of the Same network, payment will not be issued unless rendered accordingly. So
I'm sure. All right, and if you read between the lines very carefully, it's also probably sponsored by Enron.
Dare you?
Now, hey, it's I speak the truth. I call it the way I see it, brother.
I speak the truth. Truth is power.
It is.
So that and other than that, I just kind of walked around. I bought some cool 3D art from this one vendor. Again, I'll talk about that on the Retro Gamers. But just kind of people-wise, I really didn't run into any jerks.
Okay,
Which is
that's
good.
cool. There was a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
I'm guessing turn out.
It was busy. It wasn't crowded on a Saturday as it normally is. And actually, there weren't as many vendors. There was a few vendors who normally were there who weren't there this year.
Okay.
Like the knife guy.
Right.
He wasn't there.
Right. Oh.
The guy with all the stuff in formaldehyde.
Oh yeah, that's right. Now, with the first day of Chiller Theater that you went to, was it as packed? I mean, was there any highlights of the day? Anything in particular? Did you get any photo ops at that point?
Really, the only photo I did was with Steven Weber.
Right.
That was about it.
You got something from Mom, didn't you?
That's right. Oh man, it's been such a whirlwind 2 days. I was in the hotel yesterday. I got somewhat of a good night's sleep, but not too much. Yes, I also met from the Howard Stern Show Jackie the Joke Man Martling, or formerly of the Howard Stern Show.
Right.
Growing up in my house, which you know my parents, it's kind of weird. If you know my parents, you would think it'd be flip flopped. But my dad did not like Howard Stern, and my mother loved Howard Stern. So growing up, I listened to Howard Stern growing up.
Wow, okay.
And her favorite on the show was actually Jackie Martling. So I got the autograph for her, and he just yeah, no problem. Thank you very much.
you.
So I got the autograph for her, and he just wrote to my mom's name.
We get treated like royalty here.
Yeah, to my mom's name, but I think he said "I love you, Jackie Martling." And then he gave me his card, and he goes, "Tell your mom to email me. I'll send her some dirty jokes." I'm like, okay, no problem.
So, just, so the highlight of the day, now, I was told, and, I don't know whether the fans know this or not, but the limo pulled up. You had a guy come out, and, he pretty much, you got yourself that limo, drove you to the hotel, heard you got a suite. Is that true?
Only the best. Only the best with the yin and the yang money. I mean, the more of the same money.
I'm sorry, what was that?
No.
No. What'd you say? You said, did you just say the yin and the yang?
I think we
money?
may have had a little bit of distortion.
I'm
so
sure.
we're here at B-Dubs.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
So it's really, yesterday was fun. Really nothing major. It was just really just a good time,
Okay.
And then I scoped out the things for what we did today. But I got to say this: Animal House line was out the door. Richard Dreyfuss's line was out the door. So there was a lot. It was busy yesterday.
Right. Well, Saturday is always, those times. And some of those stars actually only come out Friday and Saturday. So on a Sunday, a lot of them don't. Like now, going into day 2 of this, meaning that it's really day 3 of the actual Chiller Theater. But for me, it's day 1, the only day, and then for you, it's day 2.
Everyone follow that?
Okay, so, and if you don't follow it, play it back 10, 20, 30,000 times if you want, because that's what it's here for. We don't record because we have nothing better to do. So, coming into Sunday, meaning today right now as we speak, as we're recording it, I met you at 10 o'clock. We got our pre-sale tickets because obviously, and I want to thank you for funding the ticket. The $30 ticket. I appreciate that, Larry. It really means a lot.
You do need to update your address with Human Resources so I can send you the invoice.
Yeah, well, you know what? Just remember, we're not in different studios right now. I could just reach over and slap you right upside the head if I wanted to.
I think the fans would know how that outcome would be.
Well, exactly. And it ain't going to be me seeing the ceiling.
Oh, okay.
All right? You want to lay down for a 10-second tan? How about a 5 count like Bundy?
So what we did, or Big E. And for what it's worth, it worked out well, the getting in early, even though we technically didn't do anything.
Yeah, I mean,
So what we did today was, for me at least, I was really looking forward to getting Richard Dreyfuss's autograph from Jaws, amongst other things. And his line was, like I said, literally out the door yesterday. So my game plan was to get there early today, to get in the door early, and to get over to his line. So I got there as the professional that I am. I got there at about 7:15. Doors opened at 10. Your esteemed host here showed up, I think, about 3 minutes after 10 o'clock.
Well, yes, because we knew that the pre-show was for 10 o'clock. Hey, listen, the champ makes his appearance when the champ wants to make his appearance, and I do exactly what I want to do.
Well, you would be in trouble because if you weren't there on time and I was inside, you would have been in trouble.
Well, that's okay, but I made it. That's the whole point. And not only that, it's nice to see Larry actually put in some work for once. Him waiting outside in the cold. I walk in like Chewzilla, the ultimate thriller, like I always do. And people, kind of wondered who's that guy, and then now you know who it is, folks. Yes, that's right. People got to see a public appearance of mine.
Someone tried asking for your autograph.
That's right. Somebody actually mistaken me for Eddie Huang from Fresh Off the Boat. Go figure. So, I'm coming in there, and we wait like an hour and 15 minutes for Richard Dreyfuss.
Yeah, but I think it was worth it.
Yeah, and not only that, we got two things out of this. You got your Jaws NES sign?
Yeah, I bought the day before. I have a copy of Jaws for the old Nintendo system at home, but I forgot to bring it with me.
Oh, food's here.
Oh,
Yes.
Here we go. Nice.
This is what I'm talking about. It's going to be awesome. Thank you so much. All right. Oh, beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
All right. Fantastic. Appreciate it. All right.
Please.
So we waited a while for Richard Dreyfuss, right? But it's understandable. When we met him, he was a great guy, very nice person. And folks, you don't want to know what Larry's eating right now, but you certainly may want to know what I'm eating. I'm actually having a house salad here with a very little bit of Caesar dressing, and I'm having 6 naked tenders, grilled, not fried, and with no seasoning. So I generally just put a black pepper on, so got to keep it healthy. Larry being the yang,
I'm having a cheeseburger.
Having a cheese? No, you're having a
Technically,
bacon,
it is a cheeseburger.
No, it's a bacon cheeseburger with cheese curds on top of it. He's not eating the vegetables, and he has fries on it, right? And I think Larry's on his, 3rd Coke?
Look, I have issues, okay? I've been doing a lot of walking this weekend.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Hey, that's important.
Don't judge me.
Hey, I'm not judging you, man. I'm not part of the workout gods. So I just work out. I'm not part of the workout gods. But that's a different story.
So Richard Dreyfuss was fun. Turned out he was born and raised in Brooklyn and not too far from where we used to live.
He's a Flatbush boy.
Yeah.
I did not know that he was a Brooklyn product until we asked, and he was very impressed by that. That was pretty awesome. I'm sure that brought back some decent memories for him.
That was cool.
So ultimately, we walked around. I got to meet a few people. If any of you have ever seen the 70s movie with James Earl Jones, there was an actress named Diane Carroll who played Claudine. She was awesome, man. Very cool. Very nice lady. I posted pictures on Facebook and Instagram about this. We got to meet her. I got to meet, Brian Thompson, who was a method and character actor.
Man, he chewed our ears off.
Yeah, he talked a lot.
It was good. It was fun.
Right.
Learned a lot about the business.
Yeah, it's very interesting. The people that the way, I guess what he was trying to say was that the people that you thought were really cool were really not. For example, Jean-Claude Van Damme. He actually said Jean-Claude Van Damme was actually horrible.
Now, these are not our opinions. These are the opinions of
Brian Thompson. Right. And he said that Van Damme was horrible, didn't want to work, showed up late, didn't care, thought he was bigger than the business, and at the same time said he had a very horrible work ethic. Then I asked him because he was Shao Kahn in Mortal Kombat Annihilation. And Brian Thompson said to me that Robin's show was absolutely horrible, thought it was all about him. They got into an argument. He actually punched Brian Thompson in the face for real because he wasn't an actor and he didn't know how to choreograph things. I thought that was pretty surprising. But,
yeah, right?
Because I've always looked upon Robin Show as a very, very influential actor because, here's a guy who pretty much, was one of the very first in the 90s, a breakout star, who's Asian, and that's very rare. But he spoke very negatively of him, spoke well of James Remar, who was who played Raiden in Mortal Kombat Annihilation as
Oh,
well as...
did he?
Yeah, he was
I didn't know
Raiden.
that.
And James Raymar was also one of the characters from The Warriors. So he spoke very well of him because he claims that he spoke well of him because he's an actor and not some martial art guy trying to be an actor. See?
That's interesting.
So that was very different. I'm still a Van Damme fan, and I'm still a James Remar fan, and I'm still a Robin Show fan, so that's not going to stop me. No. I also got to meet Lorenzo Lamas,
Yeah.
who played Reno Reigns in the 90s show Renegade, which was pretty awesome. He was a great guy. Very
He was
nice
really
man.
cool.
Very cool man.
Yep.
I did not realize he did Taekwondo.
Yeah, right?
He's a black belt in Taekwondo. I always thought he did some form of karate, but he did not. He actually
Or
did-
just going through the motions for the TV show.
Right. I didn't know he was a legit martial artist, which was great. Because then we were talking about martial arts, and
It
he
sounded
was
like you mentioned something. You mentioned one of the arts to him, and he
Right.
said he tried doing it, but it was,
right.
it sounded
So
difficult.
I told him I did Wing Chun, and he said that Chinese Kung Fu he couldn't understand. It was too complex for him.
Fair enough.
Right. You have to do what fits your personality. Excuse me, guys. We're eating right now.
Yeah, you would think we'd pause,
Yeah, but
but I screwed that up last time, so.
yeah. Well, sometimes, you have to find what's right for your personality. I think ultimately, we took a picture, posted that up as well. And the fourth person, this is an honor for me. Because growing up watching him in Street Fighter, the legendary Sonny Chiba. Sonny Chiba was so cool, man.
And we're not talking about the Van Damme Street Fighter. We're talking about the original Street Fighter.
That's right.
So, and he was cool too. Yeah, Sonny. I got an 8x10 by him. He's a legend in the business. I may not have seen a lot of his work, but I know of him, and he was reasonably priced as well. So that wasn't too bad. And it was funny just trying to watch. Not funny in a way of like just interesting to watch Anthony try and interact with Sonny Chiba, who I guess doesn't speak a lick of English. So
Yeah. He only spoke Japanese from what I think,
Yeah.
from what I understand.
but you tried. I didn't
I
realize
tried.
you knew some words.
He was very cool. Yeah, I knew some.
I think you confused him when you first walked up to him.
Well, I watched a lot because then he started speaking to me in Japanese. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
My bad.
Well, nevertheless, he was a great guy, and I mean, very cool. I wish I had something for him to sign. Actually, I should have had him sign my shirt or something.
Well, you mentioned wanting to get your belt signed, but wouldn't that be a little very good, very good,
Very good.
like a little like dishonorable?
I thought about
the
that.
belt.
Maybe it's a good thing I
Yeah.
didn't do.
No.
Yep. But I also didn't realize that Sonny Chiba is a student of the late great Masayama, who claims that he killed a bull with a single punch or kick. And Masayama was the founder of Kyokushin Karate. Kyokushin Karate is practiced by a lot of famous people, Dolph Lundgren being one of them. And it was pretty awesome. But Sonny was great, and I didn't realize he was a black belt,
Yeah, he has 2 black belts.
which is unbelievable, because
Yeah.
that explains how good he was.
Is he still acting?
Has he done anything recent? I have no clue.
Yeah.
I mean, the last time I saw him in American Audiences was Kill Bill.
Okay.
Other than that, I'm sure he's keeping himself busy, maybe at least behind the scenes or something. But
Fair
he
enough.
looked great.
He looked
He
really
really
good.
took
How
care
old
of
is he?
himself. Sonny Chiba has to be at least in his 70s.
Okay. And then we met Alan Oppenheimer.
Oh my God, Larry, you take this one.
So, now, for those who don't know, Alan Oppenheimer was the voice of Skeletor. He was the voice of from the Neverending Story.
If you don't know who
Falcor.
If you don't know who Skeletor is, turn this podcast off now.
Skeletor, Falcor. He played some of the lesser-known Autobots in Transformers. He was on
Really?
Westworld. Yes, he was some Transformers, yeah. So what happened with him, you can get an autograph, but you can also, separate payment, get either a voicemail recorded or a video recording of him, like doing one of his voices. So I originally was going to get him to do a voicemail, but I'm already getting a voicemail custom made for me from the woman who played Ash Ketchum in the old Pokemon cartoons. So we figured, and we'll put it up on the Facebook page either tonight or tomorrow, to ask him if he's able to do like a kind of a quick recording saying, hi, this is Skeletor, and you're listening to the Yin and the Yang podcast. So I go up to him, say, hey, how you doing, blah, blah, blah. And I'm wondering for the video recording, can you please do an intro for a podcast that me and my friend do? And then he doesn't flip out, but he gets very, defensive. He's like, no, I don't want to do podcasts. So I'm like, okay. I mean, if he doesn't want to do it, doesn't have to do it. We'll just pass on that part. But then it dawned on me, he didn't want to be recorded for a podcast. I'm trying to explain to him, we're not trying to record you. We're not interviewing you, I should say. You didn't want to be interviewed. We just want to do, if you can just do an intro for the show, that's all, or just a spot. Once he figured that out, then he was cool about it. And we have the video of him, saying, this is Skeletor, and you're listening to the Yin and the Yang podcast.
We should play that right now.
Yeah, I'll try to. I mean, the video is so much better, in my opinion, even though we'll be playing the audio. But here, let's see if this will broadcast through.
Let's see.
Oh, stop playing? What happened? Hold on.
Well, we're trying to get it together, folks, because...
This is Alan Oppenheimer. I'm Skeletor, and you're listening to the Yin and Yang podcast.
That's legendary.
That's
right
awesome. It was cool. And then I got a pop vinyl, Skeletor pop vinyl signed. So that was pretty sweet. And then we just kind of walked around at that point. We went to the merch, and you were looking for DVDs.
I was, and we were really looking for one, and I couldn't find the DVD that I wanted because the guy was charging $10 for a DVD. Very hard to find movies. And then he was charging $4 for $35, and I couldn't find 3 others I wanted. And I'm like, what the hell, I wasn't very happy about that. Other than that, I would say to you, it was a really good time. I had a lot of fun. So, even when we're on the road, guys, we tried our best to do our thing, have fun, and eat right. Well, at least I'm trying to eat right. And
It's like a vacation for me.
Sunday,
I walked a lot.
yeah. Well, Sunday is like pretty much a cheat day. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with that. I indulge in one a week. I will, though, starting tomorrow, I want to start an experiment, and I think I've mentioned this before, but I kind of got thrown off because I had some family get-togethers and stuff. I want to try my best to challenge myself to see how many days I can go without eating a cheat meal.
Oh, okay.
And in 2016, I tried this once, and I literally went 62 days
Really?
without a cheat meal. And man, when I did that and I ate clean, I lost a hell of a lot of weight.
Sure, thank you.
So that was unbelievable. 62 days. I want to discipline myself again. You got to get that drive in you to start doing it. Now, speaking of drive, my friend, should we rehash this segment here just on an occasion, kind of like a part-time? My question to you is, you saw your trainer this week, am I right?
Oh, yes. So I went back to the gym, saw my trainer.
Thank you.
He definitely kicked my butt. I was bad. I've been bad. I haven't been to the gym, eating terribly. Things just all not that good. So, but I went back and, kind of got it all going. And I think hopefully one day I'll get back on track. Granted, what I'm eating here is not going to help any, but hopefully the one person I'd rather not have listened to the podcast right now. But I got through my session. with minimal issues. So I really didn't have any problems. But we'll see where it goes. We'll see how it goes.
I tried to explain to Larry earlier when we were at Chiller. We were talking about the workout session. I think a lot of trainers would agree that they would rather overwork their clients and push them hard, even though they say to take it easy or go quote unquote light. Simply because in the past, I think that a lot of people have been pretty much told, like, oh, well, you know, I feel cheated out of my workout. I didn't feel like I get enough from it. Or I think it's just to cover their own asses, basically.
I get it.
If you haven't noticed yet, I haven't cursed. At least not too much. Simply because we have kids around us. And try to set a positive example. These kids will eventually grow up to become fans, so maybe it's better off that they learn curse words from us rather than in some bad song or video, and they'll actually or video game, try to reenact, you know, something in real life. So maybe it's better off if you hear curse words from us, you know? But that's not the point. The point is that it was a good time. Now,
I also met a couple of actresses from Halloween.
oh yeah,
I didn't
that's
realize they
right.
were both in Halloween. If I knew that, I would have gotten the poster signed.
You didn't read the promo in the back?
I didn't know they were. I just thought the one woman was in it. So I met both beautiful women, adorable. Scout Taylor Compton, who actually played Laurie Strode in Halloween. And which dawned on me when she goes, "Do you want me to write anything on here?" I thought she said, like, your name. She goes, "You want me to write Laurie Strode?" I'm like, all right, go ahead, write Laurie Strode. Not because I never saw that. I didn't see the Rob Zombie remakes.
Me neither.
So I got her autograph. She looked beautiful today. And then I met Christina Cleve, I believe her name is. She was also in Halloween, I think a lesser part. But she also played one of the counselors in Friday the 13th, the video game. And that, I play that. And she was like, hey, look, you know, friend me on PlayStation. Maybe we can get a group session going, a group game.
That was the craziest thing I've ever heard a celebrity tell us.
Meanwhile, I didn't have to tell her I don't play the game on PlayStation. I play it on Xbox. Oh well. But they were cool. I took pictures with them. They'll be up on my. They're up on my social media page.
Right, absolutely, absolutely. Larry, you want the onions?
No.
No? Meh?
Yep.
Or the tomato?
Go.
Okay. Love my
Got
vegetables.
some of
bros.
the seasoning on it. So be
No
careful.
problem. It's good. That was good. It's gonna sound stupid. I'd rather eat my onions raw than cooked.
I know a few people like that.
You know why? It's one of my favorite things.
All right.
It's really odd. I know tons of merchandise people. Really, really cool. I want to give a plug out to somebody in particular. He has a lot of classic DVDs. What this guy does is that he takes lost VHS classics and he puts them on DVD. He also has wrestling, he has zombie movies, he has slasher movies, mutants, ninjas, punks, rockers, cyborgs, demons, maniacs, monsters, mobsters, aliens, bikers, co-eds, crazies, which that's what it says on his business card, I kid you not. And it's called WHSPS. And the actual site is known as, he's known as the VHS Preservation Society Specialist. And he's found on www.vhsps.com. That was the guy who allowed me to try out the movie Shoot Fighter, which is a very rare movie because it stars Michael Bernardo. It's a B-rated film. Bolo Young as Shingo, the Shoot Fighter, as well as William Zabka, who plays Johnny Lawrence, which I couldn't believe. So, you know, that was pretty awesome. So I got to see him and whatnot. And I was going to get the movie, but I just couldn't find 3 other movies I wanted. Maybe I should have gotten the Roddy Piper thing.
But why didn't you just get the 1 for $10 then?
I wanted the deal. You're
Well,
right.
It's like
you're
you're
right.
spending more money to save a little money.
No, you're right. You're right.
But we all do it. We all do it. Speaking of, and that was pretty much Schiller. Speaking of William Zabka, though, you attended the Karate Kid.
Oh my God. I can't even see the segue game is so good right now.
I try.
Fans, what would I do without him? Right, Larry? What would I do without you?
You wouldn't be doing this right now.
Excuse me? Are you? Wait a minute. Are you trying to tell me you don't think I can do this podcast without you? Huh? Is that what it is?
Thank you very much.
I can have our server right now, Pamela. I can have her do our podcast. Listen, we're recording on a podcast that was a Yin and Yang podcast, right? Fans, I bet you I can get Pamela to do this podcast with me, and we'd have better ratings than me and Larry.
We'll see what happens.
Yep. See, she's smiling because she's
There you
being
go.
humble about it. Right?
It's all
See,
good.
And Pamela's great.
Yeah.
So we're at Buffalo Wild Wings at Parsippany, New Jersey. You find Pamela, trust me, she's awesome. Very awesome. See, you got a plug. You can say hi if you want,
You can
Pamela.
stop. So,
Now, hey, it's my show, goddammit. I do what I want to do. Now, you getting back to this. You really think I need you on this podcast? You are the
mentioned
Mustafa to my New Jack.
I mentioned it last week that I've done podcasts on my own. I've done single,
Yeah.
and they're extremely difficult.
Oh, yeah? And how's that going for you?
Extremely well. I don't do them anymore on my own
Oh, gee, I wonder why there's a reason for it.
because it's very, very tough. So, I mean, look, you don't have the skill set, you don't have the talent to be able to carry an episode by yourself.
You
So-
don't think I can do it on my own? Is
I
that a
don't-
challenge?
at this point-
Excuse me, is that a challenge?
Well, all I'm saying is at this point in your career, I don't think you can.
So what you're trying to do is what Eric Bischoff did to Stone Cold Steve Austin, to basically tell him that he doesn't have what it takes to make it in the respected business that he's in. Is that what you think it is?
By yourself, this is correct.
Really?
Yes.
Well, I'm going to tell you what. I am going to find a way. I am going to record an episode by myself next week. You take a nice vacation, do what you got to do. I don't care where you go. Go to hell for all I care. And I am going to make sure that next week I will promise a rating of over 100 listeners next that
Do you
episode.
think you think that
Episode
episode?
32 will produce 100 plus listeners and downloads. And if I can't do it, I'll tell you what I'm going to do.
What is that, my friend?
I will openly admit to the entire network, I will openly admit to the commandos and to the militants that you truly are better than me.
Well, here's my question though. You don't have a recording. The recording is done at the mansion, at my studio. You call in. You have a little. You have your.
That's why I bought the Zoom H1N.
Oh, you can do it off of this? Okay.
Maybe.
I was gonna say, but you have a little technician at your place, but that's just really just for your side of the levels. The actual recording is done on my side.
Okay, no. So then give me the key. Allow me to come in. And
That
record
is
with
not
that.
happening.
Why is that not happening? How long have you known me? You've known me for 25 years of our friendship. You're telling me you don't trust your best friend, huh?
Absolutely.
Really? Is Mormon Manor that serious to you? The compound that
I'm not giving you my 2-digit code to get into the pass the security gate. Okay.
well, Ensign already told me it was 28.
Excuse me for 1 second.
Oh, I'm sorry, did I just hit a very sensitive 2-digit?
Excuse me for 1 second. Excuse me, I got this. Yeah, Jeremiah.
Oh boy. Well, I think I just cracked the
Yeah,
code.
no, can you hear me? I know, I got some bad reception here. Listen, I need you to change the code. That idiot gave the code out. Yes, to the front gate. No, I know, trust me. I don't know how he cracked the 2-digit code.
You see, fans?
Yeah.
This is
so-
what I'm talking about.
All right, so we're gonna have to change it to. Let's change it. Let's change it to
No.
a number that no one will ever.
No,
guess.
how about we change it to the Anthony Chu show? How's that?
Excuse me 1 second.
Is
I'm
that-
on the phone. Can you please?
That's
I'm
not
on
my
the phone.
problem.
Thank you.
That's not
Thank
my
you.
problem that I cracked the code.
Jeremiah, all right, I need you to change the code to 88. 88. No one will ever figure that out.
All right, well, fans,
I
listen,
know
while
the Giant
we're
Back to the
doing this
Future
right
poster
now,
hanging in the foyer
all,
that people can see through
all
the
I got to
window.
say to you
But it
is
doesn't
that
matter.
let's take some Q&A questions right now.
Okay.
He's on the phone. Apparently the
All right, I'm
fans
back.
are now. How are the Mildreds going to survive without you?
We'll find. I guess we'll find out next week.
Oh, really? So you're just going to abandon? You called me out.
No,
you're going to
you-
just abandon ship?
I want to see how you're going to do this.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like I said, I will promise over 100 listens, and if I can't deliver with my star power and my name being the former two-time USW heavyweight champion of the world, I will openly admit on the podcast that you are better than me. How's that?
We'll see what happens.
But now let me ask you this. What if I do meet the expectations? Then what do I get?
I will give you a nice hearty handshake.
No.
And
how
say
about-
congratulations.
How about you give me the royalties that are owed to me, and how about you admit the fact that you can't exist without me?
But that's just not true.
Being the number one trend-setting, record-breaking, booty-shaking. Oh well, I don't know about that, but trend-setting, record-breaking podcast show known worldwide. You can never admit defeat, right?
If you get this, if you're successful, I will give you the accolades you think you deserve.
I know. You know what your problem is, Larry? And this has been the way it's always been since we were childhood friends. You would rather look good and lose than look bad and win.
Well, so who are you, Cleveland? And like, am I Indianapolis? Like, how does this work?
Actually, that was from Woody Harrelson and White Man Can't Jump.
Well, I gotta see the movie first.
You've never seen
No.
this movie? Okay, this is scary. Between Above the Law, you've not seen The White Man Can't Jump. Were you like locked in a capsule somewhere from like the late 80s
No, I
to
just
like
wasn't
the early
interested in that
90s?
movie.
Okay, well, I'm sorry it's not Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Greatest show ever.
The shittiest show ever.
How dare you?
Okay, he's getting mad now, fans. So maybe at some point we need to calm this down and we need to get the living hell out of here. But now he's signaling. He's actually calling his driver right now to come get him from Buffalo Wild Wings because I think that this is just common.
Thaddeus, yes. Please bring the car around.
This is a common
Thank
food.
you.
It's for minions, basically, right?
Thank you, Thaddeus.
By the way, I just also want to thank you for covering the food cost here at the Buffalo Wild
haven't
Wings
gotten the bill yet.
establishment. Well, don't worry. I heard that you're covering it. Ensign already told me. All right,
Why
it was
do
a
you
little
listen to him?
surprise.
Where has he been?
Well, Jeremiah told me the same thing too.
I gotta talk to these people.
So you're going to
I gotta
cover
talk
this
to my
thing, right?
interns.
Well, I don't mind. It's okay. I appreciate that. I really do. Listen, let's not bore the fans too much more. Okay, I mean we're already gone somewhere around 40 minutes of this. Before we go, can we take some questions, please?
Yeah, sure, if you want.
All right, fine. So, reading this right off my Gmail account, and fans, if you want to email us, it's we always have time for the fans because this podcast is based upon and built for the people. So, the first question, I'm looking at my phone here. The first question is from Brian, who comes from Columbus, Ohio. Brian basically asked, at what point do you know when to step up your workout game? If you've been actually working out for about 2 months and you're doing the same routine. Well, there's a very easy indicator. This is going to sound like a very old school one. For me, when I do, let's say, a 1.5 mile run, if I'm sweating my head off and I'm pretty much, let's say, sweating down to my shirt, if you keep doing this 1.5 miles at a certain pace and you realize, oh wow, I'm not really sweating much anymore, I'm not getting anything out of it, that's when you need to step up your game. Try to increase the speed, try to increase the incline, try to do something that will shock your system in a way, all right?
Shock of the system.
Oh, you're still here. Oh, actually, I thought that you left and didn't pay the bill.
I'm still waiting. No, I'm still waiting for Thaddeus to bring the car around. See, unfortunately, in a place like Parsippany, New Jersey, I'd rather not have my car just out in public. So he had to go around the block.
Who the hell
park
is
somewhere.
Who the hell is Thaddeus?
Next question, please.
Okay.
Don't worry about who's on the payroll.
Well, you are the artful dodger, aren't you? I don't know.
Thank
I've
you.
never met Jeremiah. I've never met Thaddeus. Who the hell are these people? Where the hell do you get them from? Do you just go to Bellevue and just, I'm trying to answer questions here. Now, if you're going to go away and run from the bill, I'm going to obviously be left to pay for it, and that's totally fine. Now, let's be very honest here. I think that the way that you set this up is that you have to really, take your time with it, adjust the levels of your interval training. Try to do some HIIT training, meaning like try to do some really intense 30-second run, like a sprint, and then pretty much bring it back down to a normal pace, and then bring it back up to that sprint level again. So this is the interval training that's going to shock your system so that you can actually advance, and improve. Without something like that, it's going to be very hard to see any results or gains or anything like that. So I hope that answered your question. The second question is from Claudia. She's actually writing to us, believe it or not, from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Claudia here just says, first of all, she says, I can't even read this. Is it Todo Bang? I guess that means she's doing well, right? And she asked Como vai. So I guess the response is Todo Bang. And basically, she asked, and I'm trying to decipher this here because the English is not that great, but she asked, do you have or have you ever trained in doing any type of capoeira or Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and what do you think about those arts? I think we've covered this before. I'm going to say to you that they're two phenomenal arts, but also keep in mind and understand that there are many different disciplines out there. If you're going to talk about combative-wise, you're not fighting the art, you're fighting the person, you're not fighting the style. Not all martial arts and different styles and systems are created equal, but I think that those are two amazing, beautiful arts. I think it's any bad in it is actually the people that actually do it who represent the art, and not so much the art itself. Because the art itself, any art, is actually dead. It's not even a tangible thing. It's until the person gives it life, and what they do with it is what matters. And that's how the art lives and breathes and is passed on. Number 3, the third question comes from Jake. Jake actually comes from...
State Farm?
Really? Oh, you're still here. And look at this. Look at this. There's actually a record-breaking incident happening here. Did you just pay for the bill, Larry? Oh, my God.
It's better to take care of it now. I'll take it out of...
Oh, no. Well, thank you so much, Larry. I appreciate it. This is unbelievable. Larry has never paid for anything on this network except for my suffering, my time, my energy. He's cashing on lots of that. My aggravation.
What's the last
25
question?
years worth of hell.
What is the last question?
Oh, you're actually listening to this too. Unbelievable. He's actually giving me good attention span here. So the last question comes from Jake. Jake comes from Memphis, Tennessee, and he asked, a few episodes ago, you talked about Sputnik Monroe. Who exactly is he, and what was so different about him when we talked about WrestleMania weekend? Okay, so long story short, Sputnik Monroe is somebody who wrestled during the 1960s, 1970s, I believe the 50s to the 70s, and he was from Dodge City, Kansas. And Sputnik Monroe is credited for being the very first, thank you so much, for being the very first professional wrestler who actually broke the segregation barrier in Memphis sports. And all other sports did follow afterwards. What's amazing about the idea of what Sputnik Monroe did was that he came into the Memphis territory during a time where I would say to you that it was at an all-time low. I believe he wrestled Billy Wicks in what was considered to be Memphis's record-breaking attendance record for an outside venue. And it was in a ballpark in Memphis. And what he started to realize in a lot of the Memphis shows was that a lot of the African American fans were not sitting with the white fans. So a lot of the Caucasian and the African American fans were completely segregated, and the African American fans sat in something called, and I kid you not, it's called the crow's nest. That's what they called it at the time, which is a very top, obstructed, bad view. It was probably the worst seats in the house. And, Sputnik Monroe saw a market for that. And Sputnik basically said, well, listen, we are going to actually change this. And the way he did it was that on the days he's not wrestling, he went down to Beale Street, which is completely black at the time. And he went down there with his diamond tip cane and his felt hat and his three-piece suits. And he would go and hang out in the African-American cafes. They arrested him for this. And they actually charged him, I kid you not, with mopery, which is a Southern vagrancy term, for doing something illegal. It's what we would almost consider loitering at this time. And he was represented by an African-American lawyer, and he actually won the case. He would pay the fine, whatever he did. And the promoter, Roy Welch, I think it was Roy Welch at the time, kind of looked at it and said, well, if this fails, we'll integrate it. But if it fails, we're going to have Sputnik Monroe pay the consequences. And it actually did work out. And one of the things that Sputnik once said is that I may not have the establishment on my side. I may not have the Caucasian fans on my side, but I have the African-American fans and I have the young people, and that's all I need. And that's why his wrestling boots and robe are actually in the Rock and Soul Museum in Memphis, Tennessee, till this very day. So that's a very long story short. So once again, getting back to my partner here, Larry, thank you so much for for really taking the bill. I'm very shocked.
Sometimes I just want you to know where loyalty lies and where the money goes. And quite frankly, I feel generous today, and only today. Remember that.
Well, I paid my dues to get into Chiller today, and I just couldn't believe that you paid them. Well, thank you very much. This is a historical first. I can't believe it. I really do. Well, fans, we got to be on the road. Larry's actually not in the Manor this week. He is actually going to go visit some family. Then he'll be returning back this weekend. So we drop this every Friday, and if you have a question for us, please email us at yinandyangpodcast@gmail.com. Once again, it is yinandyangpodcast@gmail.com. Larry's already running out the door because Thaddeus has the limousine in front. He didn't even say bye to me. I guess maybe he was just that ashamed of paying the bill that it just looked beneath him here at Buffalo Wild Wings. But fans, let's wrap this up because we've depleted the resources and we don't want to take too much of your time. We do apologize for a bit of a short episode this week, but we are on the road, so we're not back at the home base with the equipment. And I will officially, publicly announce this right now. Episode 32 next week will be a solo show, and we will finally be free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last. Mormon free, that is. So until then, next week, ladies and gentlemen, eat right, take care of yourselves, work out, do the best, and to take care of one another. Let there be peace here. And by the way, one of the greatest pieces of advice that I've ever gotten is don't just talk about it, be about it. And you can't teach that. Peace.